So today is for day 7 left of the AWS Cloud series. So the title is change EC2 instance type, and that's the thing we're gonna have to do for this lab. So let's do together. Alright, so let's click the start button. Oh, alright. So during the migration process, the Nautilus DevOps team created several EC2 instances in different regions. So they are currently in the process of identifying the correct resources and utilization, and are making continuous changes to ensure optimal resource utilizations. So recently they discovered that one of the EC2 instance was underutilized. It's not finished yet, so prompting them to decide to change the instant type. So they are make a decision to change the instant type, maybe T2 micro or T3 nano, something like that. So please make sure the status check is completed. If it is in initialize, if is state in initializing state before making any changes to the instance. So change the instant type from the T2 micro to T2.nano for data center EC2 instance. So make sure the EC2 instance data center EC2 is running state after the change. So for this lab, we can use console URL and using these credentials, username and password. But let me do for this lab using uh, this terminal. All right. So I will copy all of these tasks in this right here. So I prepare I had a workflow diagram. Using this, we will show this lab. So first of all, we will try to get the instant ID of the EC2 instance. So how do you get the instant ID? So we have to ask that where to find it in the Google. So how to get the EC2 instant ID from the SunOS CLI. So here, so we can use this command line, AWS CLI. Alright, so I will use this command line. So this is AWS EC2 describe instance. So we will see the instance list. So and then we will run this query line, reservations and instant, and we get the instant ID, and it will show the output test. So now this is the instant ID, right? So we will use this instant ID for the next coming comments. So the second thing is we had to check the current state of the EC2 instance. So how do we check that? So we will find it again. How to check the check your current status of the So here we will use this command line, but we have to change the instant ID right there. So we remove this default instant ID from, so I will replace with the correct ID. So we will run this command line. So also here, describe instant status using specific instant ID. Alright, so now the EC2 instant is in instance state is running, and here status okay, and here purse and also purse. So but we have to change the instant type here. The first requirement is to change the instant type from t2.micro to t2.nano. So if it is instance running, it's running, right? So we will have to stop the instant because we need to modify to change the instant type to t2.nano, right? So how to stop the instant? So I never remember the command line, so we don't need to remember, right? The current how to store the AWS EC2 instance and wait for the instant to stop. Alright, so I will find like that. So we can run this command line. After that, we will run the second line because this is waiting for the completion. The second line is, the first command line is we will stop the EC2 running, and the second line is we will wait the completion of the stopping process. So here we have to use our own ID. So our own ID is right there. I will copy this ID. This is EC2 ID. Alright. So here also we will remove the current instant ID test and we will replace. So I will run the first line. So now the data is here stopping. Here the previous state is running, but we had to make sure again by running the second line. So I will run the second line. So instant stop and instant. So we have to modify instant type to t2.nano. So we will find in a Google again. So now we successfully stopped the EC2 instance. You can check the status again here. You can run this command line again. So now here everything is not working. Stop it. So we will use this command line, modify to EC2 instance. So here is we will use this command line here, but we have to replace the ID or the EC2 instance. So here I will use this EC2 instant ID. Alright, so I will paste right there. I will copy the whole command line and I will paste right there. So I changed into the t2.nano right there. Here t2.nano. So let me check the diagram. So and then we're gonna start the EC2 instance. So we will use this command line again, ID. So we will remove this previous this remaining part. We don't need this. So I will use. So this is correct ID, right? So here I will run this command line to start EC2 instance. Here AWS EC2 start instance. So what instance do we start to run? So here we will get a specific ID. So yeah, now the status is pending. It's not running yet. So but we had to make sure for running. So how do we make for the instance to running? So here I find like that. So we will check the status again. So we can use this command line. Here also we will use the related ID right there. So ID is this one. And here ID is this. We can use this. So I paste right there. So and we will run again this EC2 instance status. We can check the finally we can verify the new instance type. Here it's not mentioned about the instance type. Alright, so let me find in Google. So how to check the instance type? How to check the instant type. Alright, so I will use not this. Because wait, yes. We will use this command line and then we will replace with the correct ID. Oh, what's wrong? Here also so instant ID is here is instant ID. I will use that. I will paste right there. So we'll use this command line to check the final state. EC2 describe instant code. I think is it the same? Oh, here we have to change the instant ID to instant type. So we will see the instant type. So now our instant type is t2.nano, and we can also check the instant status. We can run this command line to check the instant status. Yeah, now the wait, this is oh. I think I was wrong again here because I run the command. I run the wrong command line. Jesus Christ. I had to start again. Alright, let me wait an instance running. Actually, I have to run not this command line instance status. But if you use AWS console URL, you can finish this left thing very quickly. Right, so we finished. So now finally we will check the EC2 instance status. So now status is running here. So we successfully changed it, right? So alright, so we will check it out and click check and click confirm. Yeah, we successfully did it. So I will start here and click yes. No issue faced. Alright, so thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next video.